Hello, how are we? Welcome to another episode of Warriors of Attraction. We've got a nice lineup tonight, a brilliant guest. So let's just crack on with it. Let's just get our video out of the way and let's keep sharing. So I will share screen.
Let me tell you something you already know. The world ain't all sunshine and rainbows. It's a very mean and nasty place, and I don't care how tough you are, it will beat you to your knees and keep you there permanently if you let it. You, me, or nobody is gonna hit as hard as life. But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done.
Pain is temporary. It may last for a minute, or an hour, or a day, or even a year, but eventually it will subside, and something else will take its place. If I quit, however, it will last forever.
The margin for error is so small. I mean, one half a step too late or too early, and you don't quite make it. 1/2 second too slow, too fast, you don't quite catch it. The inches we need are everywhere around us. They're in every break of the game, every minute, every second.
You got a dream, you got to protect it. People can't do something themselves. They want to tell you can't. You want something, go get it. Period.
Don't be afraid to fail. You can't always win, but don't be afraid of making decisions.
You have to believe that something different can happen. He who says he can and he who says he can't are both usually right.
That most of you say you want to be successful, but you don't want it bad. You just kind of want it. You don't want it badder than you want to.
Well, good morning out there, wherever you are. You're joining me in my daily routine, which is I start my day off with
Party. You don't want it as much as you want to be cool. Most of you don't want success as much as you want to sleep.
Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us.
To dig deep down and ask yourselves, who do you want to be? Figuring out for yourselves what makes you happy, no matter how crazy it may sound to the people.
Make a choice. Like, you just decide what it's going to be, who you're going to be, how you're going to do it. Just decide.
Why not? Why can't I be the MVP of the league? Why can't I be the best player in the league? I don't see why. Why can't I do that?
What did you say to the kid? It ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. Get up. Get up. And don't ever give up.
We can stay here, get the shit kicked out of us, or we can fight our way back into the light. We can climb out of hell. 1 inch at a time.
To be able at any moment to sacrifice what you are for what you will become. Most of you won't be successful because when you're studying and you get tired, you quit. I don't do well in math. You're right. You ain't never studied. I'm not good at writing because you have never written before.
Talent you have naturally. Skill is only developed by hours and hours and hours of beating on your craft. If you are not making someone else's life better, then you're wasting your time.
Don't cry to give up. Cry to keep going. Don't cry to quit. You already in pain. You already hurt. Get a reward from it.
Now, if you know what you're worth, now go out and get what you're worth. But you gotta be willing to take the hits and not point the finger saying you ain't where you want to be because of him or her or anybody. Cowards do that, and that ain't you. You're better than that.
Because every day is a new day. Every moment is a new moment. So now you got to go out and show them that I'm a different creature. Now.
I'm going to show you how great I am. In the 17th chapter of St. Luke it is written, the kingdom of God is within man, not one man nor a group of men, but in all men, in you. You, the people, have the power. The power to create machines, the power to create happiness. You, the people, have the power to make this life free and beautiful, to make this life a wonderful adventure.
Now, what are you gonna do?
Because limits, like fears, are often just an illusion.
Let's bring Andrea on. Hello.
Hey.
You alright?
I'm good. Sitting out here in my hallway since they're cutting down trees. You
Yep.
can hear it in my office.
Let's just get on with it. Let's get Loren on. How's that?
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Dr. Loren.
Hi, Adam. Hi, Andrea.
Hi, welcome.
Have you got a frog in your throat?
I have long COVID.
Oh, no.
No. No. Well, I'm going to give you some positive. I should have said it Monday. Congrats on getting your doctorate.
Oh, thank you.
Congratulations.
No.
Thank you very much.
How did you feel about getting it?
That's an entirely different show.
Yes.
It would,
of course. Of course.
Well, I didn't realize I was dealing with a lot of imposter syndrome until it came about, you know. Seriously, it was pretty challenging to accept when it happened. I didn't realize it until the regalia came in the mail. And I was home alone. My husband was out of town visiting his parents, and I couldn't even walk past the box. I had to go out one door and come around and come in the other door, the deck, the back, you know, the slider, because it felt like a dead body was in the room with me. I just, you know, I just never had anticipated something like this to find its way to me. But I'm good with it now, but it took a minute. So,
especially seeing Les Brown as well.
Les was in the same class, yeah.
Yes.
I know. He is the same. Yeah. He was like a couple seats down. So.
Yes. Yeah, I always listen to him. Anyhow, onto the show. obviously, I want to carry on from Monday's show for people that haven't seen it. Go and watch it after this. But it's surrounding the stigma surrounding the culture of your background of being obviously the first Black African gay man. Shall I say that? And part of the community, because there's a lot of stigma surrounding that, isn't there?
Well, yeah, there is. It was a little different for me though, because by the time I got to having to really defend it, I was in a world where my environment changed from week to week.
Okay.
I was in foster care. So, but before entering foster care, when it was only about, the thing was sissy, yeah, that was a little difficult. But we had a LGBT Q family member, my cousin Leon, who would come once per summer to our house with his friend. It's how the old people would always say, well, Leon's coming with his friend. And and his friend was like Prince. He looked like Prince. Prince, I didn't even know what he was, but and he wore these what do you call those, scarves, like around his neck, and I was just like, but I still didn't know, you're headed to that same destination. I didn't. I just thought people called me sissy because I didn't care what I played with. If I wanted a doll, I'd ask for a doll. If I wanted to, get an easy bake oven, it was because I wanted to be a chef. It didn't have anything to do with anything other than what I was drawn to naturally. And I put the emphasis on naturally, so it wasn't because I had been molested, because that hadn't happened yet. That happened inside the system, but not before I entered the system. So it had nothing to do with that. It wasn't because Leon and Arthur, his friend, wore off on me or anything like that. So it was a challenge. Plus, I was in our family dynamic as far as religion was pretty strict, because it was Seventh-day Adventist, which a lot of people couple Seventh-day Adventists with Mormon or Jehovah's Witness. Very strict. We're the only ones who are right. Half your week is spent praying for forgiveness, and the other half is hoping you don't get, struck down by lightning. So it's like a real fear-based, organized religion. But I'm grateful for that too, because, most of us that found our way to spiritualism dove off of the diving board known as organized religion. So, I have great memories of that, but it was uncomfortable as a kid when they'd have those sermons. Even though I didn't know it applied to me, it just felt off. And I could sense people looking at me, in the church, like, especially them old women,
Loren!
Yeah, all those ones,
I know them looks. Yeah.
Yes. So, not like some people. And we were in I would say our neighborhood before I entered the system was pretty, what would you call it? I would say middle of the road. We weren't in the ghetto. We weren't in, I didn't grow up in projects.
Crazy.
We were middle class for what you would call, for a single Black mother raising us. We owned our own home, and, we always had a new car, and I went to parochial school, private school. So unlike friends of mine who I know there's stories that grow up in the quote unquote hood where, you could get jumped or, they just weren't going to have it. Kids that had to start leading a double life even before they knew what being gay was. They had to act like they were into gang banging. They had to act like they were into things that they weren't. I was free to just run around. I didn't care what you called me. You can't whoop me. That's how I used to tell her. Well, come on there. Except for this one girl named Keisha. She could, and she did. She told my ass up. Right. I couldn't stand her because you couldn't even go in the house and pee when you were playing softball because she would take your place. And you come back and you're like, so we would try to feed. I'd bring purposely like big jugs of lemonade and things that I knew she liked to drink. So she'd gulp, and then wait for her to go in and pee and take my spot back. But she even tricked me there because she was the first girl I ever saw go behind a tree and pee outside. Oh yeah, she did it. She'd been way back, and we'd see the pee flying. I know that's a crazy thing, but it's a fond memory, believe it or not. And another thing about her was she never called me sissy. We played together a lot, and her best friend was a girl. I told this story the other day about Rosie Hamilton. Rosie Hamilton, who was definitely, I believe, on the way to being a lesbian.
Right.
Like Peppermint Patty from Charlie Brown, just butch as they come. And she had a horse. So, we all stayed in good graces with Rosie because she could whoop everybody. And so could Keisha. So, yeah, that was my childhood, prior to all of the trauma from the system. So, but I experienced a lot of what you're talking about today, moving forward in my journey in the military. I'm service connected today, because of not just about a year ago, they were going through my files for something else, to see, I think I was getting tested to see if I had the ear thing, the ringing in the ears, because I was experiencing something for a minute. And so they looked in there to see where I worked. And I worked in an office, so I wasn't on the flight line. And then they saw where there was a way that I was being treated. There was a lot of stuff written in there. And they said, what happened with you all those years back in the early 80s in the Air Force. Nowadays, it's illegal. And as a matter of fact, we believe you could become service connected as a result. And that's exactly what happened, because a lot of that treatment led me to drug addiction, 14 years, homelessness that came along with that, then county jails, and then prisons. And a lot of that, too, I was being groomed through those latter years in the system known as congregate care, i.e. group home settings, because they were the same beds, they were the same hallways, the same bathrooms with urinals in them, and just an institutional setting. So when I went to county jail the first time, it felt like home, So yeah, there are a lot of things that I think a Black LGBTQ member, period, not just guys but girls as well, deal with that's somewhat different than others. I know I have Spanish friends who say they deal with it too. Just not gonna have it. No, you're not gonna be up in here gay. We'll disown you first. But thankfully, that was one of the benefits of being in the system. When I came out, I didn't care. Because I'd been alone anyway. If you don't like it, as long as I love it, I could care less.
You're your own self-critic then?
Yeah, pretty much. I did, as an adult, have to do a lot of soul searching, because I really did believe that I was having these feelings, if you will, based on having been molested, in the system. And it took a long time to get around that, to get to the point where it was like, okay, it wasn't that. This is really who you are. And then to start to embrace that. So it took a minute, but I got there. I'm married. So, to a man. Even that, was something that I had never even considered possible. Of course, it wasn't legal back then, but I didn't even know gay and lesbian couples could live that kind of a life with homes and memories. And I'll never forget the first time. It was after I started a company called Apology Accepted, and it landed me on every television show you can think of, daytime television show, Oprah, Good Morning, all of them. And someone in my town, I lived in Hollywood then. I was a session singer, background vocalist, voiceover person, that sort of thing, jingle singer. And a gay couple who owned a bunch of apartment complexes saw me in there and reached out to me when they saw me at a bar with some friends. Hey, you're the guy we saw in People. And they invited me up to their home, and it was the first time I'll never forget it. We went first, it was this opulent home. They lived across the street from Carol Burnett's daughter, and Nell Carter was 2 houses down, all these celebrities, John Bon Jovi. And I walked in and I saw all these pictures of, there we are running with the Bulls in Spain. That's us on, visiting the Queen Mary. And all these wonderful, wonderful memories that families create. And they've been together 20 some years. And it dawned on me, wow, you can really have this kind of a life. I thought it was just the bars and stuff, which I hated. I would only go to a bar with friends. I did not like the bar scene, and I would never go alone. And if I did, I didn't talk to anybody, and which wasn't good because I thought I wasn't attractive, or they just don't like me, all these different things. But it just wasn't my thing. It just wasn't my thing. And I'm glad it wasn't, because you got to remember too, when I graduated high school in 1980, that was the same year that what's his name? The actor came out as gay, and he had AIDS. What's his name? He was with what's her name? Que Sera Sera. What was that woman's name?
You're talking about Rock Hudson?
Rock Hudson. Yes.
Where are you at?
In Chicago?
Okay, yeah. I thought maybe you were in a whole nother country. Oh, excuse
me.
Yeah, that was Rock Hudson.
I might be in another world. This place up here. No, I'm actually in the Chicago area. I'm in a little outside suburb called Naperville. But yeah. So,
well, it's Rock Hudson.
Rock Hudson, when he came out, myself and my two friends from high school, Dan and Ray was my best man in my wedding. We were 17, turning 18. I was about to leave to go to Up With People to travel for a year, and they were both off to college. I couldn't go to college because I wasn't available to kids like us at the time. Okay. And we were devastated because it was like, what? Right when we can like get out there and have all the sex we want, this. So that was like, I'm like, no. My mantra became, if I'm going to die for a man, trust me, his name is going to be Jesus. That's what I would tell people. And so I just shut it down and poured myself into trying to find meaning just in living life. How to get started. I didn't have anybody to send me off, if you will, into the world. But the Up With People experience was very helpful because there were 119 kids in this cast for an entire year traveling the world. And we lived in community homes of the people that, of course, they were called host families. And so every time you were in a different city, you had a different roommate or two until you worked your way around everybody, that is in the cast. Always guys with guys, girls with girls. And it wasn't just the gay ones, but just meeting people, kids from all over the world where it wasn't looked at like it was here. Kids from Japan or kids from the UK. They were like, what? Why is it such a big deal? And because they tell me, you're gay, aren't you? I'd go like, maybe. Why? What if I were? I was very defensive. But at the end of that tour, I was good because I felt good about who I was. And that's all I needed to get started, finding out more about who I could become. And that's the thing that stops so many people from, from just embracing who they truly are, because so wherever it's religion, family, community, take your pick, has painted a picture of all of the sacrifices should you go that way.
Yeah.
You won't have us, you won't have this, you won't have that. People are going to do this, people are going to do that. And I had been through so much shit. Can I say that?
Yeah.
I really had that.
Adam says worse.
Huh? Adam
has
said worse?
said worse.
Oh, okay. Adam.
God, you can believe that, can't you?
Right. So, it wasn't easy. It still isn't easy. But it's manageable. Today, I can't imagine living any other way. And like my friend Ray, he ended up getting married and having kids. And then 25 years later, he couldn't take it anymore and came out and got divorced and had to start the process of searching for that partner all over. And the bar scene and everything is a different place today than it was back when we were kids. And he still struggles.
Yeah.
So it's a different road for each person, I believe.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm just trying to. I hate this new mouse. I'm trying to get this up.
When you were talking about how things are today, I'm a cultural competency trainer here in Nebraska and Lincoln.
Okay.
And I'm in the Lancaster County Democratic Party. And just Tuesday night, as I was doing my presentation, I thought culture isn't just race. I learned that there were various different types of diversity, And so I made sure I added non-binary, LGBTQIA plus community in my presentation, because like you said, it's a new day.
It is.
It's a new day.
It is. And, I encourage people who are still on that journey of self-realization, self-acceptance, all those different things, and not just about your sexuality, about anything that anyone has ever groomed you to believe is not the way to go, but you've known somehow inside it is meant for you. I really encourage people to understand that you haven't missed anything. I don't feel like I showed up late to the party. I now look for purposeful ways to make this journey to who you truly are easier for whomever it can be. Let me think of an example. Oh, the magazine cover behind us, Shift Magazine. Now, I've been on quite a few covers, and this is the one that I chose to have blown up and hung on my set. Why? Because the roughest road for me was in the military. So you see, the paint, the body paint, the red, white, and blue, but I let them they don't say gay inspirational speaker. They don't say LGBTQAI plus speaker. They just use the colors. This is a very purposeful cover in the name and in their name, so that we both are in agreement, because Shift Magazine, they are allies. And I was the first openly gay service member to make their cover. And I questioned, well, how can that be? What's taking so long? And they said, no one wants to go there. There are a lot of military members who are gay and they're open and stuff, but they, for whatever reason, they like to keep it where they like to keep it. And so I am honored at this point in my journey to be able to, I'm not one, it's like this. I've never been to a gay pride, not because I'm not proud, but that didn't represent me. I wasn't going to wear a boa. I wasn't going to be in a tutu. That's not who I am.
I can picture it now.
You can picture it with yourself in it. But it's not that it's, if you like it, I love it. But I just knew that I would feel inauthentic there. And I also was afraid that I wouldn't know how to celebrate alongside my gay and lesbian brothers and sisters. I now feel differently, but because of things like that behind me, I had to reach that intersection.
Yeah.
That fork in the road. Forks in the road are important because we're groomed to believe that there's always one in front of you. No, they're like the piece of pie in Trivial Pursuit, where you put the little game pieces in. They're all around you, but forks in the road dictate and they require us to make a choice. And so, which way am I going to go? But no one had taught me that before I use that opportunity, which is to choose, I have to decide. So I have to decide that it's time to choose. So I had to learn my way into critical decision making. Is it worth it? If this comes out, what am I willing to do without? When this comes out, what can I expect to come in? And how does it weigh as far as what I believe I need to be my true self, my best self? And that's how I came to being open about it. When I was going through all of that media attention at 26 with Apology Accepted, which was the world's very first apology company, all those shows, no one, and there was everybody, I mean, all of them, none of those talk show hosts or magazines ever asked me, if you were gay. And I remember even in my 30s, I gave a commencement speech. No, it wasn't a commencement. It was a Martin Luther King Day thing. And I wrote a thing and sent it in and I won. And I had to come and do it. And it wasn't until I watched the footage where they called me up on stage and I was with a bunch of people that I knew.
Oh, he's froze.
Okay, there we go. We're back. I was looking at my friends like, how in the world? How come nobody told me I was such a flamer? Because, when I walked up there, I might as well have had on a pair of gauchos and wedge heels. And I was like, oh my God, I'm so gay. And I really didn't see myself that way. Because you know why? Because I always thought I got cheated with the gay chromosome. I was like, I'm not a flower arranger. I can't choreograph dance. I can't ice skate. I can't do any of the things that, I don't know Broadway musicals from top to bottom. And I just thought, I am so non-gay. I don't fit in. But then now we have flowers in this house twice every week. And I post them because it wasn't about being gay. It was about loving the experience of creating through my lens. And so, I even took a job once as a floral designer, knowing good and well. And they assumed because I was a gay, I could do it till they told me, here, we need this arrangement in an hour for this. And when they came and looked at what I created, they were like, okay. And later that day, at the end of the day, they were like,
So did they look at you the exact same way your cats look at you when you try to get them to do the chores?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Did you succeed in that mission by any chance?
No, all that was stereotypical stuff.
And I never knew that people would assume I had gifts that I didn't, based on the fact that I said, yeah, I'm gay. Because they asked me, you're gay, right? I got my first job as an event planner because right inside the interview, she goes, please tell me you're gay. Are you gay? And I was like, well, I happen to be, yeah. She's like, great. Oh my God, I have been waiting for someone to come in. And I really was good at that. As a matter of fact, after that, I was an event planner for 25 years. I came into this world from that world. So it worked in that circumstance, but it didn't with the floral arranging, you see. So, I mean, I look at it like this. I believe we are all on a road, our journey to learn what we need to learn as we need to learn it.
That's right. I'm not in the box everybody tries to put me in, neither.
Right.
I'm outside the box, all the way out. Like you said, outer space up here.
Exactly.
How crazy is this, though? That magazine behind you, I remember when you posted that to the public very first time. It was me and Kerry that was your guest.
I remember.
So do I. Yeah, when you started using the crazy word.
We did more than use it because...
Oh, no, he hasn't! He hasn't!
No, I think
he's got something.
People
they did
things now. So, yeah. Yeah, somebody sent me that.
Y'all need to stop.
Yeah. Because
what's my shirt say? Y'all gonna make me lose my mind up in here. I can see y'all on the same page.
You know, that was a real sly way of showing the girls.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly.
Look at what my shirt says.
I don't care about the girls because I'm a dude when I want to be Tom Sawyer. So the girls don't matter.
There, right.
See,
like that right there. That's what I'm talking about. See, there was once a time, even if I would have known or not known what your preference were, or your pronoun use, I still get confused with that one.
Me too.
Oh, I'm not kidding. I didn't realize how difficult that is. That's something that I'm learning to navigate through now. And my husband is a therapist, so he's always pushing. And he is a sex therapist. So he's always pushing the need to learn as we keep evolving as a people. Yeah. And my physical therapist came over for dinner this past Friday, and he brought his transgender son. Now, we've known Osmond was coming, and but when Osmond was in the foyer, as soon as they walked in, he handed me some flowers, and then Brian walked in. I was going to say, yeah, look what, and I had to reach for his name. So every time I would have said he or she, I was like, uh-oh, wait a minute, because he looks like a girl. Mm-hmm. He identifies as male, but still dresses and looks, like a girl, like a female. The clothing and the accessories. And so I still am learning. And why do I bring that up? And why is that important? Because it helps me understand people that don't understand me. If you can be LGBT in the community, Loren, and you're still learning how to navigate, put yourself in the shoes of those who are trying to understand you, and because we can be pretty shitty at times to people who just don't know better. For instance, I cannot stand it when I'm with a group of my gay friends and they see a heterosexual guy with his girlfriend and they go, and we meet him or something, we start chatting, we're toasting and something, they go, yeah, I bet you sure you're not gay. It's almost like trying to recruit people or make them defend their position. And I think that's unfair.
I agree.
Trying to convert somebody. It's just like as a gay man, I would meet, especially with African-American women. Still, it happens. Brian could be standing right beside me, and an African-American woman that's in my audience or doesn't know us will say, well, the only reason you gay is because you ain't had a real woman. 10 minutes with me, and he'd be history. And I find that very offensive. And that actually happened with us.
So would you say that is more like peer pressuring in a way?
It is, but I wouldn't be so nice. I wouldn't package it in a Tiffany box like you just did. I would put it where it belongs, in the garbage bag known as bullying.
Hey, come on, Loren. I'm direct as they call.
Right, but I believe that's bullying. And
Yes.
I feel like, how stupid are you to not even consider my husband, who is standing 2 feet from me?
Yeah.
And it's very difficult for me, but I have to remember, as an influencer / public figure, because that person recognized me.
Mm-hmm.
That person was a follower. And why is this important? That some people say, why would you even want that person in your tribe or following you? Well, if you're a doctor and your goal in life is to heal, if you're a teacher and your goal in life is to teach, who are you to dictate what student or what patient is in your waiting room or classroom? It's like I think I told you this the other day. Oh, Carrie, thank you. I think it was the Huffington Post interview. They asked me about, how does it feel when people find out you're gay, and you find out they're haters? And I was like, I don't know what that is. I don't know what that feels like. And they said, how can you not? You're gay. You've been bullied. And I said, yeah, but I've never had a hater. I don't believe in them.
Okay.
And, well, what do you believe in? What are they? Easy. They're closet fans. I came out of the closet. They can too. It's my job to win them over to a more healthy way of considering. I didn't say believing. Just like I don't tell people, well, do you want some constructive insight? I mean, constructive criticism. I say constructive insight, because anything that has a negative word attached to it, why use it?
Exactly.
So I look at people where they are, and I try to put myself in their shoes, because we should, to really educate and inform people, it must be through a lens of love.
Mm-hmm.
It must be. They can't help it.
Yes, you did.
Aw. Same with you, Carrie.
Yeah, Loren brands me and Kerry the dynamic duo by any chance, and obviously I'm the lead one, of course. So
we'll let him continue thinking that, won't we?
Yeah, we will.
Oh, you agree? You second that emotion, Andrea?
I second it all day.
Oh, come on!
Well, to be honest with you, before I met Carrie, it was Adam. But once I met Carrie, it was the Duvalls.
Mm-hmm.
You're really like one, just like Brian and I. We're a unit.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to say this to anybody out there. I don't care if you're straight, bi, gay, lesbian, whatever. I'll never forget back in those days in my early 20s. I was 22 when I dated for 2 months. Jeremiah, a great guy. He happened to be a floral designer. And I thought I picked up. That's how I did that interview. After we broke up, I watched him do it a million times. How hard could it be? Right. No, he was the number one floral designer in Phoenix. So when we parted ways, because I wasn't ready to love or be loved, but I wanted to try it. And I remember some months later, when I was coming out of my fog of depression about being alone again, I should have stayed. It was better than nothing. No, it wasn't. I looked up and I said to God, which today I refer to as greater than, and I said, let's make a deal. I am telling you, I know for a fact I would rather spend the last 5 minutes of my journey with my everything. If they walk up to me in the last 5 minutes of my life and I know it's them and they're holding my hand and I'm looking at them and they're looking at me, I'd rather have that 5 minutes with my everything than an entire lifetime with just anything. And then, of course, about 20 years later in my 40s, I looked up and I was like, damn, you really took me seriously, huh? But then that day came and it was a straight woman. She was in our wedding, Tammy. She said, you need to you need to get out there. And I was like, no. I said, what do you mean? I don't like bars. She said, online dating. I didn't know there was an online dating platform or platforms for people like me. She said, yeah, there's one called Adam for Adam. And she made me fill out a profile. And I was like, I am never going to be using this thing. And that was on a Thursday. That Saturday, I was cleaning my apartment. And I turned my computer on. And that's where we had filled out the thing. So it was still open. And I'm dusting or whatever. And I hear ding. And I go over there. And it said, Chicago Doc for you. And I blew up the profile picture. And I was like, oh, he looks like a little Michael J. Fox. I love him. And so I said hi back. And then it just kept ding, 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 ding. I was like, I'm not going to get any work done today. I'm not going to get my cleaning done. I am not going to keep answering this guy. Then 10 minutes went by and there wasn't a thing. I was like, what happened? And I run back in there to see, like, did I miss it? Next thing you know, I said, well, why don't we meet for coffee? He goes, I'm going to come through your town tomorrow on my way to my lake house. And I was like, yeah, right. Everything is a lie on there. Probably isn't even his real picture. But he did come by and I'm not kidding you. I promise you this happened, which makes it so worth the wait, which is why I'm saying this to anyone out there who thinks their forever person will never show up. They will. I needed to spend all that time becoming Mr. Right, or I would have never seen Mr. Right walking down the sidewalk as I guided him in, because he had to park a couple of blocks away from my house because I lived on a bluff, so the only parking was for the people that live there. And I'll never forget, Brian turned down, he crossed the street, and I'm like, where are you? And he said, I'm crossing the street by the Dairy Queen. And then he was headed towards me, and I saw literally a golden aura around the figure moving towards me. So much so, he was standing 5 feet in front of me, and we were still on the phone. And I was like, he was like, we can hang up now. I'm here. And I was like, okay. Oh, and then I came to my senses, and I watched him walk in. And what in the world? That day, everything that I loved about myself, even things I didn't realize I loved about myself, I pulled it out. I was working on this album, and I was like, I'm making an album. Do you want to hear the song I just wrote a couple days ago? So I did everything but a soft shoe dance routine. I cooked dinner. I did everything I could. Why? Not to impress. It was because I wanted to extend this time for as long as I could have it. And then I heard the voice say to me, Loren, do not let him leave without telling him how you feel. And I took a chance right outside where we originally met in front of my house. And I said, listen, this might scare you. I didn't know he was a therapist and he didn't tell me. I said, but I got to say it. Something told me, don't let this moment pass. And I said, verbatim, I know there's something special about you. I think you're the one I've been waiting for all my life. And I'm pretty certain if you are okay with it, that I should pursue you with everything within me. And he looked at me and he went, okay. And we've been together literally ever since.
Congratulations.
I know.
My mommy says, Dr. Loren, you're awesome, and she's enjoying you.
Yeah, we all are. We're all proud of you.
Thank you so much, Mommy.
I know I am, but I had to slide that in there so you know how special you are to us right here.
Oh, I appreciate that.
We'll wrap up there, because I know we've gone over our half an hour mark.
Well, I was going to tell you, but I didn't have time because you were in the video. I moved my client when I went to the bathroom. I felt guilty.
Why did I not know that when the time was ticking? I said, "Oh, that time got moved." Moved us. Yes,
I told her, and she said, "Oh, no problem. I've got some busy work I'll do." So
Well, thank you so much for staying with us.
Of course.
A special National Never Give Up Day.
Is that a real thing?
Yeah, it is here in UK. But you know what? You know what England's like. We can make up our own days.
Oh, there's a day for everything, but I love this one. Never
Yes.
Give Up Day.
Yeah.
So, when did you get married, Dr. Harris?
We get married. I've gotten that date wrong so many times, and it is not pretty when he's here. October 14th, 2017.
Coming up.
And I'll tell you, yeah, it'll be 5 years married, 7 years together. And
wow.
He, because Brian has just, it was July 25th, which was the day we met. And I was shooting, or I was memorizing lines for the TV show, the series I've been filming, and totally forgot. And he has like the codes to the security system. One is the wedding date. The code to the garage, if you punch it in, is the day we met. He's got a code for everything because I'm not good with numbers. And I forgot. And then I come upstairs and there's a bunch of roses sitting there. And I'm like, what? And he goes, mm-hmm. You know, but it's so wonderful.
Yeah.
It really is. And I tell Brian all the time, you know, when I'm on the road doing different things, and like a couple of weeks ago, I had to go back. I'm back and forth to Ohio filming Heathen. And it used to be just when I would go places overnight, when I'm in one bed and he's in our bed, or he visits his family and I'm here, that it would hurt. Thank you, Stella.
You are your family now.
That's my mommy.
Oh, hi, Stella. Nice to meet you.
At least you got in the family, because I haven't yet. Joking.
Quit lying, Adam. You know Mom has adopted you a long time ago. Don't be trying to play.
Yeah. You know, so what is one of the most wonderful pieces now is I don't even have to be away for the night. You know, I went and I volunteered Saturday for 8 hours for my Rotary Club. And all day long, all I wanted to do was go out to the car because I have to leave my phone when I'm there because I will text him constantly. You know, I miss you. You know, what are you doing? This and the other. And when he's with his bestie, who was his best woman, he had a best man and a best woman. I only had one. I'm constantly interrupting their luncheons. You know, I'll come up with stuff just to call in. Hey, I don't know how to turn on the so-and-so, you know, like the TV has like 5 remotes and he knows how to make them all work. These speakers, that speaker, that sort of thing. So, and I realized, he goes, why are you going? You're needy. And I said, I'm needy for you. And it's just wonderful because every time that dictator known as the voice of depression, or all those things that tried to whisper to me all those years that you're nothing, you're less than, you're not worthy, you're crap, you're garbage, all the things that I was groomed to believe through a number of ways. Now that voice has been silenced forever.
Yes.
I'm not kidding you. You know, I can look over at Brian and just sit there and just stare. I go outside sometimes to water or, you know, water plant, and I'll catch him reading a book and he's constantly highlighting. He devours books. And I'll look through the window and I'll just sit there and watch him, not knowing he's being watched. And I go, I hope I get this view from heaven, because I've already made a deal with God. You better take me first, because I cannot, no. I couldn't deal with it. And so I look at that. I look at him and I'm so blessed, you know, that he saw me. You know, he really saw me. And I'm going to tell you, there's a power in that, because I was a cook, a chef, a cook then. And in 2 weeks, I had talked about this dream, which is today, my world, my life.
Mm-hmm.
Millions of followers and this and the other. And I told Brian about that dream. and he bought me a book that's on my nightstand upstairs in our bedroom right now with the same, he always puts a bookmark in a book when he gives it to me as a gift. It still has the bookmark in it. I've never even cracked it. But 3 weeks after he gave me that book, I took a chance and I put my message in the hopper. I sent it out and booked my very first 2 paid speaking gigs. And here I am 900 and some later, 6 to 7 years later. And I never even opened that book. Why do I keep it beside my bed? Because I go to sleep looking at it and I wake up looking at it because I never want to forget what he wanted me to know in that moment. He knew then that it wasn't what was in that book that would get me here. He knew it was the story that was the book inside me that would get me here. It's all I ever looked for in my outside purchase.
I have to ask, are you two like me and Kerry? Because when I leave the house or she leaves the house, literally within the first 10 minutes, we're texting each other or we're on the phone to each other. And there's been times where I've dropped Tegan off at school and then literally I rang her. And she started having a go at me because I'm ringing her so soon. And then I came home and I sat her down. I'm like, right, we need to talk about this. And she's like ranting, as women do, joking. But I said to her, the only reason I ring you for one reason only is because when I'm out on my own, I feel like there's something missing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. It's true.
Yeah, I feel like there's something missing.
It's true.
I feel that way about my mommy and my kids.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like, even though I've got 2 arms, when I'm out on my own, I don't feel like I'm walking out with 2 arms.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm grateful for that.
So I'm going to say this, at both of your weddings, when you have your next weddings, make sure you have us invited so that I can come and read a poem just for you.
You can bring it to an anniversary party.
Yeah.
Sure
Look, that wedding, we did that thing so much. So it was, I've got to ring the bell.
That means you two have to come to England then.
Oh my God,
Yes.
our wedding. Oh.
I'll travel wherever.
Will you, right? Come England.
Yes.
Yes,
It'll be a great excuse to come over.
Exactly. Yeah, there you go, Kerry.
So when you're talking about your wedding, your face is just lighting up.
Yeah.
And you can't do it no better than that, is what I'm feeling.
No. We had everybody we loved. It's interesting because when we look at our wedding book, we're like, we don't even talk to her anymore. That's a sister I don't speak to.
No, we only had a quiet one. We didn't want any fuss.
Well, that's how I do my speeches. I get caught up in overthinking. So it really helps me to just do my speeches in a poem. You know what I mean? And so now I'm doing poetry every chance I get. So I'm not playing. Whenever you have an anniversary, I'll come and read some poetry.
Absolutely. Oh, and I want to tell you this.
Cool.
At our wedding, we had a memorial table out in the foyer where people put their gifts on that table. And when we were deciding who, of course, I had both of my moms, the mother who adopted me and the mother who birthed me. And I said, well, that's really all I have. I had my Aunt Candy. And then Leon, my gay cousin, was her son. He had already passed away. I said, oh, yeah. And I brought Leon. And I put him right in the middle because I would have never made my way to that day, most likely, if I hadn't had proof of that happiness. Because he and Arthur were together 37 years.
Wow.
And I looked at it and I was like, and we had a garage sale a couple weeks ago. So we were selling all those frames because we used to have that family wall.
Mm-hmm.
And we were like, we'll take the pictures out if somebody buys the frame. But then we were like, no. How did those memorial pictures get in there? We took them all out and we put them around the house. And Leon's was the first one I took. Oh, I had both of my moms already hanging, but I took his and I put it there. So I just want to say, everybody, I think every one of us has that person that saw us before we truly saw who we were or who we could become. Never forget them.
No.
Never stop thanking them. Never stop honoring them, because look what they did. You know, and even I'm going to end on this. All the people that called you names, all the people that tried to fight me, lie on me, I bless them all today. When I look at my Brian and I look at my life, how can I not bless all of them? After all, look what they were responsible for doing. They led me to him. They led you. So, you know, forgive it, bless it, and if you have to, banish it. But acknowledge it, because everything led you to this moment. So be encouraged.
Lovely. Any last words, Andrea?
I'm just sitting here looking at Dr. Harris Sunshine. I'm like, look at Sunshine sitting up here. I'm just sitting up here just smiling and just loving it. You remind me of my auntie, who was a man. You remind me of my auntie. And I had to ask those questions. I had to say, do I call you uncle or auntie? Because I'm a little girl watching him do his makeup and watching how beautiful he is. And he said, you call me whatever you want. And he's been my auntie ever since. He's been my auntie ever since. Yes. So you remind me of my auntie.
That's an honor. And I received that. Thank you so much.
Yes.
I want you guys to get over and follow me.
Of course. Bathrobe moment.
Yes,
Bathrobe moment. Google Loren Michael Harris. Follow my body of work. And if any of you want to share your story on my show or just say hello, I welcome you. I've
done it already. I've done it.
I want to come. I'm telling you right now. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Come on.
I'm so glad Kerry's here, because I've got one final question for you both. On my bucket list, I want to live in America. I do. She won't come with me. What do I do?
Pray on it. Pray on it.
I was gonna say, leave her ass there, and she, you know, she'll be coming. She'll come on over. Come on, Carrie.
And why can't you live? There are people that live bi-coastally, house here and a house there.
Yeah.
You could do so many months over there, so many months over here. Listen, if you plan it and it is meant to be, it will come.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It will come.
And y'all could come stay with me when you come.
Of course.
And here.
I can cook now. I can get down. So
I'm the one can cook. Oh, you want to go there?
Well, we don't have to have a contest.
Hey, I'll cook as well.
We will appreciate each other's endeavors in that.
So what's your signature dish?
Peach cobbler.
I just mastered that last year. Thank you, Jamie Lane, for the perfect dough. That was the part I couldn't get that I liked. Okay, peach cobbler.
Guess how I do it. Look, I put a whole, you know, people want some of that, all that crust, right?
Yes.
So
on
I put
top,
a whole,
on bottom, in the middle.
Look, that's me. I put crust all on the bottom.
Never tried it.
Then I put some little heart ones on the top, and I add a little rum.
Well, my signature dish, one of many, is look on my page. I post everything. I even posted my avocado toast I had for lunch today.
Ooh, yummy.
I've seen that.
Smothered chicken. I'm making that tonight.
Oh man, can I fly over for a spell just to have a bite?
I can make a
pull
good
the bone and it just come on out.
Ooh, I love that.
Hey, if you come England, I'll be cooking. Because mine is either a nice chicken dinner or it's a nice homemade stir fry.
That's what we had last night.
Yeah. Well, I put all sorts in it. I put carrots in it. I put broccoli in it. A lot.
Ooh, that sounds good. My lasagna, I make a chicken lasagna and a regular lasagna.
All right. it's 2.
Yeah, we're wrapping up now, guys. Wrapping up.
Before dinner, and I'm starving now. You made me hungry.
I didn't need myself, so there you go. So, Kerry, you need to get cracking.
Dr. Harris, I'll be reaching out and I'll be
Please do.
plugging
Thank you all so
in.
much.
I'll bring my followers.
Thank you all for what you do. I mean that. Adam and Carrie, I've seen you two grow in such astronomical ways. Just you have walked and found your way into an anointed place.
Yeah.
And I'm so proud of the work you did. I mean, people are coming left and right now. But I remember that day back then. I remember when, I'm just keep it real, where people thought, not taking you seriously and this and the other. And look at you now. Look at you now.
Hey, this episode will be on Spotify tomorrow.
Awesome.
We're on Spotify. What do you expect? And Amazon Music.
You're just getting started, and I couldn't be happier.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well,
Yes, he
please share
is.
this all. Please share this.
Yes.
Yes, and we'll see you next week.
All right, you guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.